Hello, my name is Jonathan Comer and I'm the Harrisonburg Market President for Blue Ridge Bank. I started at the company in 2007 and I've been in the Harrisonburg office since 2014. So the way I've moved up through Blue Ridge Bank is when I started in 2007, right after I graduated from college, I started into a management training program. We didn't have a formal one, they sort of made one for me. And so, I was a teller for the first month, and then I was in the loan department and the operations department and different things like that. And so then after I got through that process of sort of seeing all the different parts of the bank, making any kind of recommendations as to what we should maybe try to improve, then I became a commercial lender, and so I've done that for most of the time I've been here. And then back in December of 2015, I became the market president for here in Harrisonburg. So now, in addition to being a commercial lender, I also do deposits. I'm over the staff here and sort of the rest of the Shenandoah Valley. Our bank was kind of in the dark ages back then, and so they hired me to really drive loan growth and do some of that kind of stuff. One interesting thing I would say is to give you an idea of how much the bank's changed in the 10 years that I've been here and through the process, is when I started at the bank, we still hand folded the statements and stuffed them in the envelopes. So, stuff like, again, you think about that being in the literal dark ages, but, I actually saw that, so. The biggest challenge I've faced after becoming market president, I would say, is really, as we expand, we're gonna wanna hire more and more people. And I think, as I think I've told you guys in the past, one of the challenges in the banking industry today, and I think many industries, is you have sort of this generational gap where there's a lot of people that were in our industry from the baby boomer generation, but they're all retiring, and there's not as many people from our generation that are coming into the industry. And while certainly you can train people, there are certain positions that you really need them to kind of come in and hit the ground running, and it's just a challenge to do that, especially in a market like Harrisonburg where there's already, 15 different banks. And so when you have 15 banks, but you really don't have that many bankers or that many mortgage people or that many branch managers, it's really difficult. And we're lucky here. Our branch manager, our business development officer, the tellers we have here are great. We've got a great staff. And we've been really fortunate that we've never had to fire anybody at this branch. We've had really good people, but I suspect that that's going to be really hard to maintain over the long term. So I think that's probably the biggest challenge. Everybody gets very centric on, well, we got to hire a banker for something. But, my mentor for the MBA program talked about how at his bank, they actually would hire people at, say, J.C. Penney's that would really have some of the skills that really translated over into banking really well. So that's, I think, one of the other things we're going to try to do in the future is, if you're at a restaurant, you run into a waitress who's really good at customer service, hey, you might ask them if they want a job in banking. You have to widen your horizons and see where you can find people and then just try to train them up and come up with a program to do that. As you get bigger, you kind of create more and more positions in the hierarchy, sort of in the middle management level especially. And so, that person who comes here to work as a teller or a secretary or an entry-level person, most people don't want to stay in those positions forever. But again, the downside, I guess you could say, of having a younger management team is you're not going to have this wave of retirements over the next 10 years. And so for these people to really be able to move up, you've got to create more sort of internal opportunities for them. And so I think we've done a good job of retaining a lot of our good people by doing things like that. So that's really our goal, is to be able to continue that.
I'm Dorothy Welch, Vice President of Strategic Engagement with Blue Ridge Bank. So I worked with Pioneer Bank for about 17 years, and I'd worked through multiple roles in the bank, and I decided that my career goals and the direction I saw my career going didn't really align with the bank at that point. I wanted to kind of work on new things and innovative things, and I saw that Blue Ridge Bank had evolved and really gone from a very small community bank that was very structured in the way they did their banking to more innovative, trying new things, launching new products, especially when they launched the Jackpot Savings, the BRB Jackpot account.
The Jackpot or Prize Link Savings account that we have, it's an account that You basically deposit money into a savings account, just like any other savings account. But for every, and it pays a little bit of interest. But for every $25 you deposit, you get entered into a monthly as well as yearly drawing. So each month we give away a $200 prize and 4 $50 prizes based on the people who have put money in that particular month. And then at the end of the year, then of course you put all the names in the hat from all the $25 contributions.
It's a prize-linked savings account in which a winner wins $10,000 at the end of the year, basically for saving money.
It's a pretty unique account. At least when we rolled it out, we were the only bank in the United States that had it. There was an act by Congress back, I guess it was in 2015, that allowed that to happen. And then after the Congress passed the law, then the state of Virginia also had to do the same thing to allow it here. And so we knew that was coming down the pike, and we took advantage of it. And so, again, it's just something a little different that a lot of places don't have. And part of the idea behind it is that it'll really encourage people to save. And because of that, our CEO, Brian Plum, actually got called to speak in front of the U.S. Senate on one of their sort of special committees on aging and saving and retirement and that kind of stuff. And so, again, he talked about the account and how it could help people, and also sort of related to that, what Congress or the regulatory agencies could do to improve the ability of people to save and be better positioned financially. I've known Brian for a long time, but the other thing that's really great about Brian is he's one of these people he's very driven, he's very goal-oriented, he has a vision, he knows where he wants to go. But unlike a lot of people who are like that, he also has a lot of empathy, and he understands where a lot of people are coming from. I think just a lot of people at the bank enjoy working for a guy like Brian, because he's not one of these people that tells everybody else to go bust their butt, but then he doesn't want to do anything. I mean, he's out there, he's trying to drive value to the bank too. I think having a younger executive team has really helped us to better understand the landscape of today's business environment, and something like this prize-linked deposit account, no bank's ever done that. So generally speaking, a younger person's probably going to be much more willing to try something like that. I think the nicest thing about working at Blue Ridge Bank is the fact that we're still small enough that we can kind of work with our customers and be a little bit more aggressive and be able to handhold at the same time as compared to some of the other bigger banks and other financial institutions. So it's nice to be able to work with people and be a little bit more empowered and be able to do more things than if you're just sort of in a really tight box. And so it makes my job easier, and it probably makes it a lot more fun as well.